Good morning. We are live and we're rolling in here next. Well, good morning and welcome. This is Tampa Home Talk, and I'm your host, Katrina Madewell. Very excited. We have Mr. Adam Talley back in the house.
Good morning. It's welcome to good to be back.
Good to be back. Yes. You're a little stranger. We haven't seen you in a minute.
It's been a long time. Yeah, I'm excited to get back out here.
What do you
There's
think
been a
about
lot of
the
changes.
Studio
This is
revamp.
gorgeous. I
You
love this.
it?
It's awesome. I'm very comfortable. These are better than the stools or sometimes standing, which happened if we got a little overcrowded. So this is nice.
We have to get Mr. Leo Kane in to check it out as well.
Yes, I
He
think
has
so.
not
I
seen
think
it.
he'd be impressed.
Yeah.
Leo, where are you?
Yes, he's getting flooded with the whole Florida state safe home thing. But anyway.
Those are. Yeah.
I talked to him.
I'll call his wife and I'll schedule it with Nikki.
I talked to him the other day.
She
He
is
was
sweet.
so busy.
Yeah, I'll schedule it with Nikki. She'll make it
Well,
happen.
my Safe Florida program, I think it's been pretty beneficial for a lot of people. So
they've done well. They've done really
glad
busy.
they've done it. I mean, a lot of people now, I always get they're going through the program and the way the program's set up, they're told like, oh, you should be getting discounts on your homeowner's policy. It's not always the case, but if you can get something to make your house stronger, it's worth the hassle.
Yeah. You get the
Right.
other side of that when people are trying to find the insurance perks.
Right. Because what a lot of them will do, they'll get new windows, right? And windows are super expensive, but the credit for that for insurance on your wind mitigation is going to be it's the opening protection credit, and that's all or nothing.
Yeah.
Right. So all the windows, all the doors,
including the front door, which we talked about this before. It makes no sense. Like someone's going to barricade you in your home.
The garage door, everything, even if you have one of those little ornamental like windows in your bathroom or something, all of them need to be hurricane rated to get the credit.
Are we already into the show without introducing him for some of
We
the
are.
people
She
that might
introduced
not
me.
know him?
She said, "Welcome
this
back."
is Adam Talley. And so, first of all, let's talk about the insurance market because, this is 2025. Last year, we got hammered with storms. We had storms the year before.
So
what the heck is going on? I feel like, do we have more carriers enter the market?
Yeah,
like, what's the situation?
We have a lot more carriers. The storms last year, it really kind of devastated our area, but you got to remember Helene was just a water event, right? Which doesn't bring in your homeowners carriers. Most of that's FEMA backed.
I think a lot of people figured that one out the hard way, even though we talked about it often on the show.
And then Milton, like last year, the carriers kind of started opening up, but they really hadn't expanded their books that much. So like where it hit was probably still mostly citizens, right? So they didn't have a lot of exposure. So for the first time in probably 5 or 6 years, we actually had a lot of carriers that were in the black.
Wow.
Which is rare.
Yeah.
Which is rare.
Especially for storms that catastrophic. Like, there's people still dealing with that.
Well, with them, our state does a pretty good job to make sure that all these carriers have reserves, right? Enough reserves to cover. And then they all get, when it's a catastrophic event, they all get reinsurance, right? So they might pay for the first $30 million in claims, and then after that, it's all reinsurance. So the exposure isn't great.
We talked about that before, didn't we? Like, who does the reinsurance? Is it like Lloyd's of London?
There's a lot of the reinsurance carriers. God, I feel like a lot of them are based out of Bermuda.
Oh, okay.
So it's just it's an insurance carrier for insurance carriers, essentially.
Which is crazy, isn't it?
Yes. Well, you got to layer the risk, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, if you think that, I had many carriers tell me, if we're talking over the past, say, 10 years, right? You had all these little tiny roof claims, right? That, you had the door knockers, that kind of stuff. They always said it'd be easier if we replaced all these roofs with one storm than getting all these little ticky-tack things because they don't get to the reinsurance.
Hey, let me ask you. Let's go back. Why is it based out of Bermuda?
I'm sure there's some tax and legal benefits to that.
Well,
that's over my, my expertise there.
And you have to think about where the money is, right? Like, so it's somewhere where, people, like he said, over $30 million. It's like whatever's picking up the major stuff after that.
So it's a risk.
So
it's a gamble.
So most of the time they're probably getting, a good portion of the policy for nothing because you have to be over $30 million to make a claim. But if they're paying a claim, it's going to be big, right? I would imagine
Right.
over 30 million.
Yeah. So, I mean, you'd have it. So, and a lot of it's layered too, right? So, like, so the first 30 million is the carrier. Then maybe 30 million to 125 is the first level of reinsurance, and then it goes up after that. So they can tier it. So these reinsurance carriers can, kind of stretch out
They're
their
spreading the risk
exposure
for
as
sure.
well.
Yeah.
It's a complicated thing on the back end.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, it makes sense, right?
Right.
Because if you have one carrier that is insuring all of it, which is what they used to do, it can wipe them out.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Makes sense.
yeah.
So more carriers are entering the market.
Yes.
How are the insurance premiums? Because I think we all thought, oh my gosh, it's going to skyrocket. Insurance is going to double, triple.
They've gone down a little bit, depending on the characteristics of your house. I'd say in most cases it's leveled out, right? So maybe we're back to the time where maybe we might be able to rewrite you, get you back to where you were, right? Or maybe save $100 off of the current term.
I think everybody was afraid it was going to double. So I'm glad
Yeah,
that
so
didn't
it hasn't
happen.
been too bad. Now, if you're in Pinellas County, that's still tough, right?
Yeah.
Because they're right on the coast. There's
And
a
the
lot of
homes
issues.
are older. A lot of them are ranch, lower level properties.
So, but I've seen it. Well, new houses, those rates are low. I mean, we're back to, 8-9 years ago. If you get a brand new house, we're looking $1,000 probably.
Well, because they like all the new current ratings, like everything's got the clips and the straps and all the stuff they want.
It's up to date, and theoretically, if something happens in the first couple years, that's more of your warranty, not your, it could be a builder defect versus an actual insurance claim. So yeah, those rates are really good, but everything else is pretty much leveled out. Now, we have a lot of new carriers coming into the market. A lot of them are doing the Citizens depopulation at first to kind of
where they're stripping them off of Citizens, putting them on regular
correct,
policies.
but something that we've seen a lot of, and there's most of the new carriers that are coming out are this way. They're set up as an insurance exchange. Okay, so
what's an insurance exchange? You're going to have to enlighten me and the folks listening.
Think about it like a mutual company, right? Where the policyholders are kind of the owners of the company. Yeah, so it's an interesting way to do it.
So you can buy in like shares or whatever to a company, and then you're also having insurance through your own company?
No, you're not buying shares into it. It's just the way it's set up is like a mutual company. So like the policyholders kind of have ownership in the company.
That's cool.
It is. I think it's a way to kind of disperse the risk. Now, on the back end of that, again, I prefaced this earlier by saying, the state is pretty good about making sure you have reserves and you
I
have
was going to say,
reinsurance.
how does that even work? Like, how would you start
Theoretically,
that?
I think it would work similar to Citizens, where like if they did run out of money, you maybe get assessed. So it's good and bad, but if it keeps your premiums lower, right? And they've done a lot in the state. I'm half in, half out on what they've done.
Well, we were talking about people before, remember, that were like self-insuring because they couldn't afford the premium, or how extreme they've been on the roofs. Like if they're over 10 years, they want you to replace it.
Right.
And, those roofs, you can get a lot more life out of them than 10 years,
and
especially if you're repairing leaks. But remember I talked about they should have this roof exclusion or like a deductible on the roof after a certain number of years.
They're doing a lot of that as well.
All the carriers, or
almost every carrier has it's called your ACV roof schedule, so actual cash value. So essentially it's a table that just goes with whatever your roof type is, right? Shingle, tile, whatever. And each year that it is old, it shows you the percentage that they'll pay that goes down until eventually on those charts, once it gets to a certain point, it'll be 50%. Right, or 45%. They'll cap it at a certain thing, and then it's just that for the remainder of the roof. But something to keep in mind with all that too.
But they'll still insure you and not make you take your roof off. Is that what you're saying?
Okay. Yeah. But the issue with that too is not an issue, but it's just something people should be aware of. Is insurance isn't designed to pay for wear and tear, right? So if that roof, if it's 30-year-old shingles, that's way past its life. It's
homeowner maintenance,
right? But you have people that don't maintain their houses, right? It's deferred maintenance, and then so if it has wear and tear, like they're not going to pay to redo the roof because you just let it rot, over 30 years. I always use the example, and this is before they started doing this stuff. My grandparents, they built their house in the late 60s, right? Tile roof. Probably in 2016, they had a roof leak. Well, that roof was 50 years old, right? So Nationwide came in and said, we're not going to pay for the roof. We'll pay for the water damage on the inside that happened from the leak, but they didn't pay for the roof. So, you got to think you're gonna have to pay for it at some point.
Yeah.
One
and
way
they
or
probably
another.
could repair that maybe. I mean, as those tiles get old, they get brittle, and then you.
Well, at least these were the old tiles where I feel like construction quality just was a little bit better at some points back then because everything was one-off, not building 300 at the same time, and you don't know where your people are.
The roof systems are getting advanced, right?
They
like,
are,
there's a lot of different kinds between like the Decra, like the stone-coated metal.
Yeah,
and I think
metal gives you the longest lifespan.
Well, and it's stone-coated metal, like it's
not going
expensive,
anywhere.
but it's not going. It'll outlast you.
Yeah.
And then they have the F-Wave, like that plastic, that high.
I'm not familiar with
plastic.
that. I see the metal a lot. I mean, mostly you're seeing the architectural shingles, and you're seeing tile. That's probably architectural shingles is probably 80% of the roofs out there, 85%.
Which is like your stacked.
It looks
shingle
textured.
Roof.
Yeah, it looks textured. And then tile is the majority of the rest, and maybe we get a metal roof every now and then. I think closer to the water, you see it more.
I don't know why more people don't put on metal roofs.
Probably cost.
Yeah,
and it
cost.
Depends on where you live, right? Like
look how much it's gone up over time.
I know.
It's going to cost you a little more now, but
certain neighborhoods might not let you put a metal roof on.
Yeah, but they have metal that looks like shingles.
I know, but it's cost, right?
It's cost.
It's cost.
I
But,
think that's it.
Yeah. So, but anyways, back to what we were talking about with the carriers and all that other stuff. And we were talking about potential assessments. I do think part of why there's so many carriers coming in is they changed the tort laws in our state. So like now the carriers don't have to pay for the attorney's fees.
Oh,
so that's really, really limited the amount of reduces everything that goes to court, the total number down, and then
so the attorneys come out of whatever they get, right?
Probably,
okay.
Yeah. That's how they're going to look at it, and so it's probably set up more like PI, I would assume these days. But the problem is you still need that full amount of money to replace whatever happened, and. I didn't run into too many issues with the storms. Like there was some of the FEMA flood took longer than it should, but anybody that got like wind damage and stuff, most of them got taken care of pretty quickly. I only had one guy that it got a little, he did contact an attorney and, he had to let him know, like, listen, I don't care how much it costs me. I'm going to sue you guys till I get the full amount. Cause he had a whole tree. He had a duplex rental property. Giant oak tree went right down the middle. I mean, he had
totally an insurance claim.
2 walls left, and they wanted to give him $45,000. He's like, no, this is a total loss. So that I do
did
feel
he win
bad.
That he should have won.
He
that.
did. They
paid him
He
out?
had a full check within 2 weeks.
Okay, good.
He let them know. But I do feel bad for people. Like there's going to be people that can't afford that are going to get taken advantage of.
Yeah.
Right. That they just can't.
Well, I always say, like, even if you don't feel like you can retain an attorney that would take a big chunk of that on a contingent basis, at least pay an attorney a consultation fee to understand all the information, all the rights, what your policy says, what you can do, what you can't do as it relates to the policy and under the law. It'll be money well spent.
It will be. I mean, even if they send a demand letter to, whatever that's going to cost them to do a little research to send that, it might make a difference.
Yeah.
Right. But claims are, I feel bad for claims adjusters. Part of the claims experience with some of these people is like, well, I keep getting changed adjusters. They said this person left. I'm like, well, after dealing with claims for myself, which is a lot less than what they're dealing with, like, I get that.
Yeah.
Right. Like, that's a tough job and everybody wants something and you're one person. Like, you're only one person. You're doing the best you can.
So how many of these shared, the ones where the people, you said
that exchange?
Yeah, what is the insurance exchange? How many of those actually exist? And is that a new idea? I feel like it is.
It's a newer concept,
okay.
At least from the way I've seen it. The previous 13 years I've been selling insurance. Not saying it's new to the world, but it's new to us. It's new to us.
Yeah.
Let's say there's probably 6 or 7 and another couple that are on the way. And some of the carriers, what they've done, it's not necessarily new carriers to the state, although there are others that are. But a lot of what you'll see is like carriers that already existed will set up a sub company that'll be set up as an exchange.
So they can diversify the risk?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the advantage of a homeowner actually doing that? Like, what's the advantage? Like, do they get insurance?
Yeah, you just
premium?
go for the price.
So it's a lower premium, but do they get like a dividend check if they're profitable?
That I don't know.
But it would make sense,
It
right?
would make sense. I don't think so because they'll probably put it back
into the fund.
Probably put it back into reserves or whatever. But it's just more. You know what it is? We have more options now. And, you know, every carrier, you got to try to fit in a little box to see, like, on the rating factors to get you your best rate for whatever your personal house is. So, you know, the advantage of switching to one of those is better rate, right? And what I've seen is a lot of the ones that are depopulation carriers are set up like that. So, you know, you got to, when they switch over for that new policy to be active, they have to sign the subscriber agreement, which kind of lays out their responsibilities and everything else like that.
Hey, can we switch gears for just a second?
Sure, yeah.
Lately, I have been seeing on Facebook and Instagram and other platforms about if you are a driver in Florida and you haven't had a ticket,
you're pivoting big time.
That's okay. It's still insurance.
You haven't had a DUI in the last 2 to 5 years or something like that. I can get you insurance for $40 a month instead of the $280 a month or the $360 a month that you are paying.
If it sounds too good to be true,
And
it probably is.
My assumption for that is that is probably a very, very small percentage of the people that like they're advertising the 0.001% of what they could get you if you had immaculate credit and all you wanted was
you have to have good credit too?
Oh, I'm sure, for sure.
Well.
And you have to live in like, you know, a really, you know, a less dense area, and you probably only have PIP and PD,
And
which is
brand new construction.
well, no, this is for auto.
Oh.
This is
Yeah,
for
I'm
auto.
talking about no DUIs, no tickets,
Yeah,
perfect driving record.
Probably state minimum, which is just PIP, which is personal injury protection, and property damage, which essentially means you don't have any coverage.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
Pat's a grandpa driver, so he probably would qualify.
Yeah,
for
if it
that.
says 60, I do 58.
Yeah, it's no, auto insurance rates have gone up quite a bit. But I have seen some carriers that are coming back a little bit. Travelers has been very competitive lately. Progressive has gone down, and so we recently added Geico. And the Geico rates are pretty good, right? It's hit or miss on kind of, I haven't really figured out the demographics that work best for them. But I do think Geico coming out into the independent agent sector
was good.
has forced Progressive to
Be competitive,
come back down a little bit. So, I mean, we're seeing a lot of those. Your auto insurance, for anybody listening, I would shop that every year.
Well, Nick's
Not
insurance,
every 6 months, but do it
Nick's
every
insurance finally went down a little.
year. My insurance has never gone down. I'm paying like $8,000 a year right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, you probably have the Mac Daddy-O.
The coverages are good. We had an accident, so that doesn't
Lots
help.
of speeding tickets, probably.
And then credit is great, but my they also do it off of where your zip code is, right? So, you know, I'm in
Tampa.
I'm in the city of Tampa.
Right in the middle.
I'm in an area where it's high traffic and you got a lot of interesting driving techniques. I won't critique them too bad, but so I mean that rate goes up. So I mean, you could track my rate going up from the places I've lived. Right when I lived in St. Pete, that was the lowest. But I moved to Channelside, it went up a little bit more because now I'm downtown Tampa. And then Seminole Heights has been the highest.
Well, let me ask you this, and I know where you live, and I know where you work in Brandon.
Right.
When you're driving to work, do you see, like we all do, people driving and you go, I'm glad I'm not insuring that person?
I see that all the time.
Oh, he's an insurance guy. He's definitely saying
I see that all the time. Now, the route I have to take to get from my house to the office, I don't know if those people are shopping for insurance like our clients, but, you know.
So I do have pivoting back to the homeowners insurance.
Okay. Yeah.
Are you seeing any difference in the premiums between like primary homes, second homes, investment properties? Like, are you seeing any general consensus?
The homeowners like your owner occupied houses, your primary houses, those have gone down and or leveled out. The DP3s, which are your rental properties, those, are having their normal kind of uptick, year to year. Still very difficult to do short-term rental unless it's a newer house. Like we have carriers that'll do it, but they're charging you for that, right? So
they're
like,
expensive, right? Isn't the premium
Yeah.
double or triple?
it might not be. It's definitely not triple, but like
It's expensive.
So let's say you had a 1970s house, because really you're putting yourself in a small box,
Is
right?
this Airbnb you're talking
Yeah,
about?
if you want to do Airbnb.
Short term,
So
Airbnb,
let's say you have
Vrbo,
a
whatever.
1970s house near the beach, right? If it's owner occupied, it's probably $3,000. If it's a normal DP3, like long-term tenant, might be $4,000, $4,500. If it's short-term rental, if you can find insurance, it's probably like $6,000 or $6,500. So it's just, and that's location specific, right? If you had a brand new house, let's say you bought a brand new house in, down in Southern Hillsborough County, right, where they're building all those new houses. If you did a short-term rental, I could probably still find you something in the $1,300, $1,400 range.
What do you think about the short-term rental? Like if it's been renovated, if it's got a pool, are you showing any? Because I mean, the short-term rentals with a pool, I feel like they do well.
Well, it's what it is it's just you put yourself in such a small box. I only have 2 or 3 carriers that'll do it. So then you're getting whatever their rate is for that house. So if it was a long-term rental, yeah, I'd have other markets, and it would the long-term rental might still be with that same carrier, right? Now let's just say Security First, right? They'll do short-term rental. The short-term rental versus long-term rental might only be $100 difference.
Wow.
But the short-term rental with the DP3 as itself with them versus a DP3 somewhere else might be $1,000, $1,500 if they'll even accept it, and it has to be updated and has to have all.
What if
this
it's an
other
older house that's renovated, or it's just what they're looking for?
If it's an older house that's renovated, I mean, roof would need to be new. But yeah, the rates are it's really tough for a short-term rental if it's a older home.
So what about if it has a pool? Are you finding any issues with the carriers where they don't want to insure it for risk if it has a pool?
No, the pool's not an issue.
Okay.
It will go up a little bit higher if you have a standalone liability policy for a pool. So like that's the other thing that happens. So if you have a short-term rental and it's in an LLC, well, now some of these carriers won't include liability. So now you're getting a standalone liability policy, which might be $400 or $500. And then if you have a pool, it's another $100 or $150. So it adds up. It just depends on how you're building it out.
Yeah. Are a lot of investors getting the standalone liability policies?
I have some people where they've run the numbers and they'll self-insure for the property, right? Because they'll be
but the liability
they'll get the liability so they don't get sued.
Got it.
Right? Because I mean, if you're down in Sarasota, right, not far from the beach, if you get property in flood, you're probably, and they'll make you get the flood. You're probably talking $10,000 a year, at least. Or you can get a liability policy for $500. What that $10,000 a year, if you
take the risk, and
if it's an investment or you have investors, like if you're one of these people that has 10 houses with investors, well, they're looking at the bottom line.
Yeah,
they're like, okay, well, if we're saving if it's 10 properties and we're saving $10,000 per property,
yeah, they could put that in a
that's
separate account.
$100,000.
Yeah,
are you going to have $100,000 worth of issues with all of the houses? It's probably have a house or two that has damage.
If it were me, I probably would do the same thing.
Yeah.
And then I would take that $10,000 a year it would cost and invest that, put that in a pool that can make some money.
Buy more houses. Just
well,
watch
in that pool.
You said put that in a pool.
Like a pool.
Like put it in a pool?
Like a
put it in a pool,
cash.
Yeah.
A pool of cash. I mean, because you have to, if you're self-insuring, there's still
you
risk.
have to have reserves for sure.
You
have to be able to cut the check.
Yes.
But you save the money for yourself, and then they're smarter than us on the financial side. I don't want to talk out of my league here, but you can take that, and then once it gets to a certain point, then you pull some out and you keep going.
There are no storms out there right now. Do listeners on the platforms anywhere like Spotify, and we are on YouTube, Instagram, all of those? Do we have time to adjust our insurance now? There are no storms.
Oh yeah, you have plenty of time.
I wonder what Bill Nye the Science Guy, Mr. Leo, would say about the storms this year.
Well, he would tell you our part of the state, we get the late season storms.
We're going to get the October.
Right, we get the late September, October
right.
storms because ours come across from the Yucatan. we can get the ones that come off of Africa.
They
but
said
generally
August might be
speaking,
very dangerous.
generally speaking, they'll come up and they'll go up the East Coast, right? So we should be fine. But yeah, now would be the time to shop. If you get a FEMA flood policy, there's a 30-day wait. But outside of that, you can switch pretty easily. And yeah, that's a good time to look.
Good.
But you might want to double check what you're switching for, right? Because like if you're like, oh, this is less expensive, but maybe it has that ACV roof schedule, or it has a higher deductible, or it has this or that, you might be, you know, saving $100 to cost yourself a couple thousand later.
Yeah.
So be careful. Make sure you trust the person that you go to and review it with them and ask questions.
Yeah, just understand what's going on there.
Yeah. If they don't go line by line and explain what the coverages are and the deductibles are and how your roof is covered, ask them the questions when they're selling it to you.
So what else is going on for you? I know you're involved with Rotary and
Yeah.
the Bourbon Ball.
Bourbon Ball's coming up. That's our next event. So it's October 17th. It's at the Tampa Garden Club. Pat
Tampa
DJ'd
Garden
last
Club.
year.
I had my wedding reception.
Yeah, so it's a great spot. It's our fourth year.
Are you DJing this year, Pat, or do you know yet?
I don't know yet.
They went with a live band this
they
year.
did a live band. Okay.
Live bands are always great.
Live band,
Heck yeah.
unfortunately. But Pat did great last year. He emceed a little
He
bit.
could be a
and-
good backup if the
and
band
DJ'd.
cancels, which
Yeah.
happens.
Well,
It
you know,
does
one of
happen.
the problems we had last year is I thought I made them dance too much because they wanted them to look at the auction items and things like that.
No,
they
we
had
crushed
great
the,
stuff.
we crushed the silent auction.
Oh,
you
good.
did?
But
Yeah.
they danced a lot, and I go, oh, they're not shopping,
Yeah,
they're dancing.
So last year, all of our stuff went to an organization called Starting Right Now, or the majority of the net. And this year we're doing something very similar to that. It's called Maddie's Movement. And they're a local nonprofit, and they help really help teens, like homeless teens and that kind of stuff. They're having problems. They help them get through to the next.
Well, who is the band you got?
Wait, so
That's
wait,
a great
wait.
question.
So,
That's a Zane.
but
That's a Zane Petty question.
I want to know about the nonprofit for a minute. So they help teens. Like, I want to talk about that a little more, and we'll talk about the ticket prices and how many you've sold and all that stuff.
Yeah, so they help teens like with obviously things with like tutors and therapy and getting them in the right place, like a good home and that kind of stuff. So it's geared towards teens that are in a difficult spot.
So at risk.
At
youth.
risk, yeah,
Got it.
at risk youth.
Great. So the ticket prices for the Bourbon Ball, you got a couple different ones.
Yeah,
that you guys
so
are
we have
selling.
regular ticket is $125. We haven't raised the prices on that. So if you've ever thought about coming, this year is the year, because if we sell out, we'll probably have to increase a little bit next year. And then VIP is $175. So the event goes from 7 to 10. VIP gets you a sunset cocktail hour where we have exclusive bourbon. So things like Pappy Van Winkle or Blood Oath, or there's a really high end Angel's Envy, like stuff like that, where you wouldn't be able to. You can't just go to the store and get it.
So you can come in an hour early and
Right.
sip on all those bourbons.
Yeah.
It's like bourbon tasting and all.
Yeah,
of them?
bourbon
Okay.
tasting, and then the whole event is bourbon tasting. But there's an open bar.
Is it all bourbon, or is there other stuff at the bar
there's other
besides
stuff.
bourbon?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So we have 2 full open bars, right? That are just whatever
Okay.
you want, normal bars. And then we'll have different distillers set up doing samples of their stuff. And then last year we did a our picks table that had a bunch of different bourbons that we like, and then there was some tequila and some other stuff. So it's not
Didn't you
just
have
bourbon, but
cigars?
it is
Did you have
majority bourbon.
cigars?
Yeah, and we had cigars, and we'll have we have 125.
Well, cigars and bourbon go hand in hand,
They
right?
go hand in
I don't
hand,
drink.
especially
I don't drink or smoke either.
especially
but-
with the Ybor City Rotary Club. We got a lot of
Yes.
cigar smokers in there. So
Give the location, time, and date again.
yes, so it's at the Tampa Garden Club. It is October 17th, 7 to 10. Unless you get VIP, then you get to come from 6 to 10. And we are on. Why am I blanking right now? What's that ticketing app?
Oh, probably Evite. No,
Well, it's not Ticketmaster.
Eventbrite.
Eventbrite. Yes,
Oh,
we're on
I
Eventbrite.
was close.
Jesus.
How do you know that? Oh,
Because I just know it, but
Because
I,
you
like
go
you put me on the
everywhere.
spot, and then I had a brain fart.
I fucking blanked. Sorry. We can cuss on
Good
here
thing
now,
we're not
right?
live radio. Whew.
You said we could. You said we have a
We
good
can,
time.
but you
Wouldn't
know,
expect that one as
when
a
the
start.
podcasts go to the station, they're gonna be like beep 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 beep
That's fine. It's one word. It's okay.
until they get the FCC $5,000.
Well, they should listen to it before they just put it up there.
Yeah, because they do that.
just expecting them to read it. Pat can bleep that out. We're
So,
good. Pat's a professional.
So they also they have these expensive bourbons, but they also raffle off baskets and stuff, right? They can buy additional raffle tickets.
Yeah, so
win the
there'll be a
bourbon?
50-50, and then we'll have a silent auction item or silent auction, and a lot of the baskets that we did last year, like we had a lot of donated gift cards. So like one of them that we won, actually we got a bottle of Camus with it, but it was like the date night package. And it had like $600 worth of gift cards. So like Pont and J. Alexander's and Eddie
Nice.
V's and like, so there's some really nice.
Eddie V's is great. I have to give Eddie V's a shout
great.
out.
It is awesome.
The last time I was at Eddie V's,
Uh-huh.
it was less than perfect.
Okay.
And it was my first time at Eddie V's. And I went for my birthday. Me and my friend have the same birthday, like a day apart. And they just could not get her steak right. Like after 3 times, she finally just said, "Never mind," because by that point we're eating.
Yeah, you're done with your food
and we're
already.
sharing steak
Yeah.
with her because like they still can't get the steak right.
Is there
And-
anything such as a bad steak
Well, so
at a high price
so
restaurant like that?
I want to just
If it
give
needs to
Eddie
be-
V's
if
a
you're-
shout.
yeah.
Because we didn't complain about it, but my friend was like, "Hey, like just take it off because at this point it doesn't make sense to even order the steak."
What was wrong with it?
So I mean, she's particular. I like mine well done, so you're probably not going to mess it up.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Gross.
But she likes
Ew.
hers, probably like most of the planet that eats steak. And it just couldn't get it quite right. So anyway, not only did the manager come over and apologize, she brought us another drink. I think brought us dessert or offered dessert, which we really didn't want, but they brought it anyway. I think we shared it because it was in front of us. And then they comped our bill. And,
The whole bill?
I didn't.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
we
pretty
did
big.
not ask them to do that. We did not. But I have to tell you, like if I go to a restaurant and they screw stuff up,
Which happens.
it happens. It's
We all
okay.
make mistakes. It's
But
okay.
depending on how the restaurant handles that, determines whether or not I'm going to go back and spend money there.
I also
So not only would I go back and eat dinner and spend
Yeah.
money at Eddie V's, but I'm giving them a plug.
Yeah.
Right on our live stream.
I also do think too, it's how you as the consumer handles it as well,
Yes.
right? Like last time that happened to me, like same thing. It was over different steakhouse, but
Well, there's people looking for a free meal regularly.
right, and like we're just like it's fine, it's okay. We don't need it. It's okay. Like, and then they comp stuff for you, and like they take care of it,
Yeah.
other than just like, well, we'll take this off the bill.
Yeah.
Right. So like I think being nice and
Like-
handling it, like if you've
Yeah.
ever worked in food service, it's a tough
Correct.
job.
It is.
Right.
Yeah.
So
and
like
their
you
margins
ha-
are slim.
You gotta. Everybody makes mistakes.
Yeah, so I did not expect them to handle it the way they did, but they handled it like a boss. And honestly, I would
Eddie V's is good.
I would
We
not
already used that gift card.
Yeah.
I won that basket.
I
so
wouldn't
it was
make any
fine.
reservation to go back and eat there again.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
I thought my steak was perfect. The food was great. I'm easy to please in that respect.
Yeah, I think they had a live band or live singer or something last time I was there. So yeah, they're good. It's a good spot. There's
Yep.
a lot of good spots in Tampa now.
Yes, we do have a lot
We're
of them.
spoiled.
So what else? Like if someone's never been to a bourbon ball,
Yeah.
what if they don't even like bourbon? Like, will it still be fun for them?
Yeah, it'll still be fun.
They have tequila.
We have tequila. It's really it's just a fun charity event to go to. Obviously, we'll have a band. There's dancing, good food, good people. Probably I don't use it as this because obviously I'm in the Rotary Club and I'm kind of busy running the event night of. But not a bad place to network, right?
Are you still the president of Rotary?
No, that
You
was
gave up your
that's only
hat?
a 1-year term, so I'm done with that.
Would you do it
thankfully.
again?
Maybe
Maybe
not.
depending on the circumstances.
How'd you get roped into that? Did you sign up for that, or you just kind of got voluntold?
So
That's
it's
what you're
funny
doing.
you asked me that. So I was in a different Rotary Club, but they met at 7 a.m. on Friday. So I was like, I got to get out of here. So one of our members from that club had moved to the Ybor Club because she worked for Bank of Tampa, and they moved her office from Brandon to Armenia. And so she's like, "Oh, Adam, you should come here and check it out." So I came and checked it out. And then like 2 months into being in the club, she's like, "Oh, hey, there's a board position opening up. You should join the board." I'm like, "Okay, fine." So and then I got elected again to the board. And then she goes, "Hey," when she was president, she's like, "Hey, I think you'd be a great secretary."
Yeah,
And I was like, "Okay, I could be secretary."
that's how it happens.
She didn't tell me that once you're secretary, you're like in the line of succession. So
Yeah.
like the secretary gets elected, but then you go from secretary to vice president to incoming president to president.
That happened
she
to
just
me.
I got hoodwinked.
That happened
if
to me
you
on the
will.
crew last year. I got nominated for all these things, like to be on the board, to be the secretary, the treasurer,
Yeah.
the tanister, which means you're automatically going to be the president the next year. And I said, I'm going to have to politely decline
I'm
all
honored.
of them.
I am
Like,
honored.
I'm so honored, but I'm going to say no to all of them.
Yeah, I just didn't know at the time that's how I
Well,
was
and
gonna go.
because
it was worth it. It was really great.
I
but-
also was planning to join another crew. So I didn't leave Brigadoon, but I'm in 2 crews this year.
Oh, okay.
So I just didn't feel
And
right.
like you have all this time
well,
to be in one crew.
they're different.
What's your other crew?
Crew of Sea Saviors,
Okay.
the wild steampunk ones.
Okay.
They're a lot of fun.
So with being in 2 crews, how does that kind of work?
Well, so they meet on their monthly meetings are different days and
Okay, you
different
only
nights.
meet once a month.
We meet once a month. Yep.
And it's still, you kind of all the crews raise money for charity. Too,
They all raise
right?
money for
So,
charity.
which is
Yes.
like,
yes.
yeah, that's good. That's no different than being in Rotary and Shriners
Correct.
and like
It's just
a
a
couple
little
different
different.
things at the
Yeah.
same time. Yeah.
So but it's been fun. Like for example, the girls in COS, which is Crew of Sea Saviors, super active, super social. Like
Mm-hmm.
the ladies only have like a message thread. There's something going on all the time,
Yeah.
every weekend. So you can be as involved or not involved as you
Yeah.
like.
Good fellowship in that.
Yes,
one. Yeah.
and they're super just supportive, like awesome people. I'm like, I've got schoolgirl, like
And is that
kilts,
all? Is it,
that's my other crew, and you guys are steampunk. I have nothing steampunk.
are they both all female?
No,
Okay.
no.
Or
They're
neither
both
of them.
co-ed.
Okay.
Yeah, they're both co-ed crews. And like not last weekend, but the weekend before or 2 weekends ago, there was a boat social with Brigadoon. So I
Oh.
love to boat, so I went out on the boat with Brigadoon people, and they're kind of a wild group.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
when you got that bad sunburn.
Oh yeah.
It's
so
it's
the
so
girls,
hot.
it ended up being
It's
just
so hot.
me and the girls on our boat.
Uh-huh.
So the girls wanted to go back early, so I took them back, dropped them off, and then I went back on the boat by myself.
Oh, okay.
And I went back.
Well, the
out.
girls are all gone now.
Well, so I went back out with the crew people, right? And so the tides, if you're a boater, the tides move, and so if you're doing the sandbar and float,
Oh, yeah.
sometimes depending on when you come in, you may have to park the boat further out and swim up to wherever your friends are that
Yeah.
are already. So that was a situation. So I park and there's like another boat there. I'm not paying attention. So I get out of the boat, I park it, anchor it, I swim up to my other Brigadoon people hang out. They're on a rented boat, so they've got to bring the boat back earlier. So I only had about an hour out there with them.
Oh.
And they were coming back. They said, we'll drop you off at the boat. I said, perfect. So I won't just swim back. I'll rope. And then they dropped me off. So then they noticed the boat next to me is a guy by himself.
Oh.
These guys are like trying to throw me into a date. I'm like, stop it.
There's worse places than meeting on the water, you know?
Yes.
And I do love that sandbar. My dog loves that sandbar.
I know.
So,
Oh, it's so great.
because my in-laws
So
live
do the
in-
sharks.
Yeah. No, there's no sharks. My in-laws
No.
live in Newport, like on the water in Newport Richie, so they just go right
They
out.
go by the catches.
They're
The Cody River.
no, they're south of that. They're like
Closer to Tarpon.
yeah, like okay, you get off of 54 and you go left on 19,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's kind of like a big law office building right there. So they're like right in
Okay.
there on the canals.
Yeah.
But easy to get to.
I went out on the boat Sunday. The heat index was 11, and it was so freaking hot. I went out with a couple people from COS, the new crew, and she got sick. She got like sun sick. Like it was.
I
yeah.
golfed on Saturday and I was melting.
It was
I had
hot.
fans on me the whole day and all. It was
Yes.
too much. So, yes.
So does Rotary do any golf?
Yeah, we do it.
fundraiser
So we
things?
have 2 fundraisers. The golf is our spring fundraiser. We do that the day after the Super Bowl on Monday.
that's
So we call it
early.
the Super Bowl hangover scramble.
Early spring.
Well, you got to get, it's always kind of been in that February time period.
So
But
Super Bowl hangover. It's not early, is it?
no, we start at like 10:30
Okay.
on Monday.
Okay.
And I mean, hey, you get a lot of people that want to take that day off anyway, so why not do it for charity? And we do it at Carrollwood. We have a great time. So it's
Is it a busy golf tournament for you guys? Do you have a lot of people sign up?
yeah. I mean, when I ran it, when I was president, we sold out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Great.
So we get a lot of people. It's a good time.
So the last golf tournament I did was for the Tampa Club. They had one that they did. It was super fun the
Uh-huh.
way they did it. And they did it at McDill. So
that course is a little rough sometimes.
But
it's a good spot though.
It was a good course, but at MacDill, obviously, they want to know who's coming on base, so everyone has to submit their ID
that's
first.
why we used to do ours there.
Yeah.
So we stopped doing that because like one year like the list wasn't at the right gate, and so one of our members is like a retired colonel, so she was able to go get everybody like onto the base, but it's a logistical nightmare.
So we had some people for that tournament that weren't allowed on base because of their
that
record
happens
or whatever.
too. Yeah, so we moved from the base to not have so many.
That's why radio people never have anything.
Yeah, but the base is a nice course, and for those people that don't know, you can just go play it on your own. You don't have to go with somebody that's in the military.
Yeah,
you can't go. You have to submit your ID. Like, got to do it a couple weeks in advance, but. You know, you
can't
play.
pop up impromptu and be like, "Hey, I'm here for the party."
Right, exactly. But it's cool. It's not a bad course.
Yeah, it was a neat course. So what else? What else is new with you? I haven't seen you in a long time.
Nothing but we're just busy. We've been so busy. I don't know how the real estate market is looking on your side.
We've been busy too. We have been.
But we've been pretty busy, and
I took 3 months off after Chris.
Yeah.
So I feel like I was on my own planet, doing my own thing, which I needed it. I really did. And I took a break from radio for 6 months, right?
Yeah.
It was at least 6 months of no Tampa home talk.
At least.
Yeah,
at least,
maybe 7.
I think, God, it had to be October, November was the last time I came on the show.
Well, it was 3 months off, like completely disconnected. And then, it was October because Chris died the day after my birthday, which was November 9th.
Right.
And so I didn't, obviously, my world stopped at that moment. And then I took 3 months off, came back to work. January, February-ish, and then started working on the studio, started trying to renegotiate my contract with the station, to just make it make sense, right? Because honestly, when Beasley changed the format and went from Money Talk 1010 to Podcast Radio US, we didn't have quite the listener engagement that we had before. And so it just changed, and I thought, well, we need to renegotiate this to where it makes sense for us and our sponsors, and have commercials on the big mom and pop stations that are their sister stations. And I just didn't feel like the deal was fair, so I started shopping around for other stations. And then in that time period, I said, why don't we just redo the whole thing and be more podcast first?
This is fun. I like it. It's a little more laid back.
Well, it's podcast first, radio second, right? Where we were under this live clock, we would have had to take 3 breaks by now, right? Yeah. We don't have to do that anymore. We can just keep going. The station can figure out where to put in the commercials, and we can go long if we want to. We can go short if we want to. We can start late if we want to. Yeah. We don't have to end at any certain time.
And we did all the above today.
Right.
Yeah.
We sure did.
It's like you said, it's a lot more relaxed. It's a fun environment. Yeah. It takes some getting used to. Like if you're used to doing live radio, like I have been for 12 years.
Yeah. I did it with you for at least 5 or 6, right? I felt like I did it for a long time.
It feels different, right? Coming in here, not only is the vibe and the lighting and everything different, but it feels different to just keep talking, not to take a break and not.
Yeah. When you stop, it's just a different flow, right? Like you get stopped because you got a commercial, and then maybe you come back to it, and
not one stupid dad joke through this whole show.
Well, and this way too, you can really get more out of your interviewee.
Yes.
Right, because it's one-on-one. You're not trying to fit in, a dad joke or,
or sometimes 3 guests, 3 different shows, and they all want to talk together. It just gets a little funky, but
and we got some great shows coming up. We're going to have the a crime lab person in, and then we're going to talk about autism that's coming up. And
wow,
remember how we do our Halloween show?
Yeah,
so we were partnering one of those guys we've had on before with a person that was like TPD,
right?
Head of crime scene type stuff. So it should be fun.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. That'd be
we'll
a good
show
time.
Pictures.
Yeah, please. Yeah. Find it on Instagram.
If
we can get the Instagram key to work, you can find it on Instagram.
Yeah. We'll figure that out. I don't know. It's outside of my pay grade. I got to hire somebody. That's why it took so long to set up the studio, right? By the time you mess with lighting, the cameras, and what were the challenges? I don't even remember, but there was a lot of them.
This is really cool. This is great.
There was a lot of them.
I feel these chairs are very comfortable.
Yes.
I'm very relaxed.
So you
They're
got to go sell
better.
insurance now, and Katrina's got to sell homes.
Yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan.
That's
for
the day
day
job.
Yeah.
We don't just get to hang out and have fun on radio all the time, although we'd like to.
That'd be fun. Yeah.
Well,
I'll go do traffic with you, Pat.
Yeah, I'll be doing that soon again.
And this is Tampa Home Talk. We had a great show with
Thank
Adam
you for having me back. This was
Talley.
awesome.
Talley Insurance. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for checking out the new studio.
Yeah.
We miss
I'll come
you,
back.
and
This was
we
great.
definitely hope you come back.
Hopefully no storms.
No storms. No storms. If you've got a question, we have the same off-air number, 813-377-2775. You can call or text if you want to be connected to Adam, myself, or any of our guests, 813-377-2775. And this is Tampa Home Talk. I'm your host, Katrina Madewell. Love where you live, or we're going to fix it. Welcome home.